Welcome to Solving Citizen Legal Encounters. All right, I see some people already in the chat. I'm not going to hold things up, and I had to mute. All right, so thanks for the people that's already here. We're going to have a good night tonight, and then we have our special friend here tonight, huh? All right, let me bring him on real quick. Look at who this here.
What's going on? This is Colin.
That's right. Some of you know him, some of you may not know him, but he's a good guy. I was on his channel. For the ones that was there, the ones that wasn't there, I was on his channel. Now he's on mine. We just doing a couple of lives together. Matter of fact, somebody, my moderator comes in, we'll make sure we put his link in the description or in the chat, or I'll do it at some point. But yeah, check out his content. Good guy. He's a good person, so we done hooked up and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and give
Exactly
you
how you think we did. We've done hooked up. Don't worry about it. Keep that imagination to yourself.
Y'all heard that he's acting up already?
We have a sovereign citizen. Of course I'm acting up.
Oh, and matter of fact, hold on. He's on the sovereign citizen side now. So he is here by special appearance, huh? Special appearance.
Special appearance. I am not the all caps name. As you can see, I am capital C, lowercase o, lowercase l. I don't remember how to spell the rest of my name, but I am not the all caps name. I am here by special appearance under threat and duress and coercion.
No.
You do not have subject matter jurisdiction.
I don't have jurisdiction, huh? That's what you telling me. I don't have jurisdiction?
You're mispronouncing the word. It's jurisdiction.
Oh, jurisdiction.
You don't have jurisdiction.
Oh yeah, you definitely want to hear that tonight. Jurisdiction, that's a new word. Are you appropriate persona tonight?
I don't know what words mean. I'm here. I'm pro se. I don't know what you just said, but I'm here. I'm presenting myself pro se.
Not representing. You presenting yourself.
I'm presenting myself. Do not use your legalese with me. I don't know what you just said. You don't have to use Latin.
No Latin.
Okay. No Latin. I am pro se.
You pro se, huh? That's what you're telling us. Y'all heard that? He's pro se, huh? Okay, yes. Aqua Queen's in the house now. I see you in there, Queen. Huh? You gonna take care of everything tonight? And she already put the link to your channel in the chat.
Thanks, Aqua Queen.
Matter of fact, hold on. There we go. Aqua Queen, take care of me, huh? There it is, right there. Y'all can go in there and click it. Do whatever you're gonna do, okay? But we want to get to this video. So I hope everybody's having a good time tonight. And we're about to have a good time watching this video. Now, this guy has a serious charge, and we're going to go through him. Let me give you the quick intro real quick, okay? Hold on a second. Let's see here.
New at 6, another man is behind bars tonight in connection with the shooting death of a man who was walking his dog in southwest Atlanta. The DeKalb County Sheriff's Office says deputies arrested Ricky Pierce on Friday. Pierce faces charges including murder, aggravated assault, armed robbery, and more. Brandon Baker was also arrested back in April. He faces similar charges. Samuel Harris was shot and killed on Mitchell Street Southwest just after 8 p.m. back on February 5th. His dog Tequila, seen there, was stolen during that incident. Leah Harris, his wife of 15 years, described him as a family man with a calm spirit who had lived here in Georgia for 30 years. Authorities are still investigating what happened that night. If you know anything in this case, you're asked to call Atlanta police.
Okay. That's a serious one, but let me share a couple of things with you before we go into this video, okay? Because those of you who are on my channel regularly know whenever I post a video, sometimes it might be a day late or two, but that's because I'm looking for something, all right? So this happened back in February 5th, 2024, okay? And that's his indictment right there for the following charges. Now, check this out. 17 different charges. Murder, felony murder, was that 4 or 5 counts of that? Attempted robbery, armed robbery, assault with a deadly weapon, using commission of a felony, and it goes on and on.
He had 8 counts of felony murder against one person. How many times did he kill him?
I don't know how they wrote that up, unless it's some other stuff that's going on that I wasn't able to find out. But I have no clue why he has that stacked up, and he has this co-defendant was in on it, a guy named Baker, last name Baker.
Yep.
So I'll be investigating it to see what happens because he's gonna have to go to court again. So I'm gonna see what happens down the road. Oh, go ahead, Colin.
Today's just the Faretta hearing. So this is just a Faretta hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So this. I don't even know if this qualifies as a pretrial. It's a Faretta hearing because he doesn't want a lawyer to represent him. So the entire basis of this hearing is Judge McBurney is reading him his Faretta warnings, and yeah, that's what this is.
Oh, and while we at it, I just saw something. Hold on a second. Thank you, Rich. You just became a member. I appreciate that. Oh, hold on. And Sparkle
Poops.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate that you gave. So I'm trying to check it now because I don't want to get fussed at later. I've been on Colin's channel. Sometimes he miss it. Sorry, Colin. I'm just saying.
I do. I miss him sometimes. It's not a good feeling when you miss super chats. It's not a good feeling.
Yeah. So
it'll keep you up at night.
And I don't want to do that. So all right, we're gonna get into the video, and let's go. You got anything else, Colin?
No, let's go.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
There you go.
Do your jump kick backflip.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierce.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Fine. You?
Good. I'm hanging in there. It's been a long day, but I'm sure it's been a long day for you as well. Whoop. Let's get your stuff all situated.
Y'all sit down, man. Y'all sit down.
Okay, well, you've waved to him, but this isn't a place where we have that kind of conversation. You bet. Mr. Pierce, when we were last together, we had a conversation about representation, and you told me that you wanted to represent yourself. You didn't want a lawyer appointed, and you weren't going to be hiring a lawyer. And I said, we can have that conversation. That's an extended conversation, judge and defendant. And I'm ready to do that so that we can move your case forward. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck until we clear that hurdle. You have a right to represent yourself, but I need to make sure that you are knowingly invoking that right and intelligently, which is not me telling you you're not intelligent. I just need to make sure you understand the consequences of self-representation. So that's what I was hoping we could get through today. But I always want to start by saying what is on your agenda so we can see if there's anything else.
I'm American State National, and I can't be represented by no attorney. But I have a lot of issues with me being a national that I wanted to address. You said you were going to let me hear me. You're going to let me address all my issues last time I was here about me being.
Well, I did say that, but I said if you're going to address issues, I need to make sure you're representing yourself. Okay, but if we're going to do that, we have to have my conversation first. I'm required by law and by the Constitution to go through a few things to make sure it's appropriate for you to represent yourself. So you can want to do it, but I got to make sure it's appropriate to let you do it. I'll just give you an example. Let's say that you were deaf. That might make self-representation kind of complicated. You're not deaf, and so you can hear me and I can hear you, but I need to ask you a bunch of questions about your background and make sure you understand the consequences of being your own lawyer. If you assure me that you got it and getting all those things you want to represent yourself, I have to give you that right, and I will, and then you can share with me what your issues are, okay? You ready to work it that way?
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
All right, before he goes in on this, one thing I want to mention, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Judge McBurney, but he does handle sovereign citizens well, and he talks to them, and then if they mess up, they'll walk themselves right into saying something that doesn't make any sense, and he calls them on it. He's very patient, but he's let them get all their stuff out, and then he goes in on them.
Yeah, it's a completely different style of judge that we're used to seeing with sovereign citizens. Judge McBurney he's not going to stop you. He's not going to interrupt you. He will let you make the entire record that you want to make. He was willing to let this guy talk for 4 hours if he had 4 hours of stuff he wanted to put on the record.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want to say, you can say it. I'll tell you if you're right or wrong, but I'm not going to interrupt you. You don't interrupt me. He demands respect, but he gives respect at the same time.
Yeah, he does. Okay.
Let me get one thing here and we can get started. All right. Mr. Pierce, please tell me how old you are.
41 years old,
How far did you go in school?
11th grade.
All right. Did you ever get your GED?
Yes, sir.
When did you get your GED?
2017.
Excellent. Are you able to read English?
Yes, sir.
I know you can write in English because I got these and you actually mailed me something that
Yeah, I wrote you a letter.
about 200 pages long. All right, so you can read and write, and you can speak English. Have you ever worked before?
Yes, I have several jobs.
Tell me what kind of work you've done before.
I worked for Dollar Tree when I got arrested. I worked there for Airmark. I worked there for the Move Theater in North Cap. I have my own landscaping business. I have my own record label. I worked at McDonald's, Burger King.
You've had a bunch of jobs. Got it. All right, that's helpful to know. I appreciate you sharing that. Have you gone to law school?
I haven't gone to law school, but I have practiced, not practiced, I've been studying law.
You've been studying the law. Tell me how you've studied that.
Just reading, researching different case laws, sending out for different statutes and codes and things of that nature.
Sure. Has all of your legal study been while you've been in jail, or have you also done legal study when you were out?
Sorry, I want to acknowledge the new member because when they come up, I want to do it now and I don't want to forget anybody. So thank you for becoming a member. And Mel, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships. So I hope somebody in this chat gets them. So I really appreciate that.
I got one.
Nice. Awesome.
Thank you, Mel.
Nice.
Both in and out.
Okay. Got it. Have you ever watched an entire criminal trial before, start to finish?
I done been to trial before.
So you've watched one then?
Yes.
Okay. What was that trial about?
Armed robbery. The 10 years I just did for armed robbery.
So you were charged with armed robbery,
Yeah.
and that case went to trial.
Yes, sir.
So you were there from jury selection all the way through verdict.
To closing argument. I stopped before closing arguments and took 10 years.
Oh, you pled guilty.
Yeah, I
Got it.
tried right before they were finna come out for closing argument.
So you've seen 95% of a trial.
Yes, sir.
All right. You ever watched a trial on TV?
Yes, sir.
What kind of trial?
What that movie that's so called? Law and Order.
Okay, you've seen that kind of stuff. So you've seen the made-for-TV stuff.
Right.
But you've been in a real one. You were a participant in a real trial.
Yes, sir.
How long ago was that trial?
2016.
Where?
Here.
Fulton County.
Yes, sir.
Who was your lawyer?
Kevin Farm, he's a judge now.
He is. That's a small world.
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever represented yourself in a criminal or a civil case before?
No, I haven't.
This would be your first time.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Have you ever gone to a doctor or a counselor to get treatment for any mental health issue?
No, sir.
Depression or bipolar or anything?
No, sir.
Okay. Tell me why you think you would do a better job representing yourself than a trained lawyer who went to law school and has done trials before would do.
Because by me being a Mr. National, a lawyer only subject me to the jurisdiction.
So hold on 1 second. Yeah, you got it. So the court reporter needs to be able to take down what you're saying. What you're saying is important. So just don't rattle the change, and then she'll be better able to hear you. So you were telling me by being an American
State national, and by me being a national, I can't be represented by an attorney because attorney automatically subject me to the court's jurisdiction.
What did he say?
How that works. He said that I can't be represented by an attorney. If I'm represented by an attorney, that means I'm automatically subjected to the court's jurisdiction.
He didn't say jurisdiction. That's why I stopped.
Oh,
said jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction.
And Colin, thank you for gifting 1 membership. That's why I stopped for y'all. So we're gonna keep it going. Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to give it back. I should have bought my own membership, and I didn't. I don't like receiving them. So when I received it, I was like, I got to give that to someone else who It shouldn't be me. It shouldn't be. But Wixom got the one that I gave. So Wixom, congratulations on the membership.
Congrats. Thank you.
Okay. So my question was a little different. I hear you. But my question is, why do you think you would do a better job than a lawyer? It sounds like you may think a lawyer would do a better job, but you don't want a lawyer because you're worried that would subject you to the jurisdiction of this court.
I know for a fact it'll subject me to the, because a lawyer is as an officer of the court, and by them being an officer of the court, it automatically subject me to the court's jurisdiction.
Okay, well, indulge me for a minute and assume, you may think I'm wrong, but assume that I've decided that you are subject to the jurisdiction of the court. And you say, Judge, you're wrong. Okay, but I get to make the decision initially, and then you go to the Court of Appeals and they'll say McBurney was right, McBurney was wrong. But if I've decided that this court has jurisdiction over you and this case and your co-defendant, do you want me to appoint you a lawyer because you're stuck here anyway, or you still want to represent yourself?
I still want to represent myself because I'm not under the court jurisdiction.
No chains.
Okay, my bad. My apologies.
Thank you, RD Foz. And then there's one more. Oh, no, it's more than one. Hold on.
You're getting some love.
Yeah, I'm getting love tonight. I really appreciate that. Wixom01. Thank you very much for the gifted membership.
I will tell you that Wixom did exactly what I just did. I was gifted a membership by someone very grateful, or I'm very grateful for someone to be generous enough to give memberships. I should be a member on my own, so I wanted to give it to someone who would appreciate it a little bit more than me. And I'm going to guess that Wixom did the same thing because he got the one I gifted. He's like, no, I can do this. Let's give it to someone who's gonna. I don't know how to say what I'm saying. I think you know what I'm saying. Words are hard. I quit. Yeah. I quit using words at 9 p.m. You know this.
Oh yeah. He's sleepy right now. Loki, Thank you very much. Loki 123. I really appreciate that. We'll definitely be talking in the comments. All right. Let me make sure I don't get anybody else. All right. So here we go. We'll keep it going, y'all.
I'm not under the court jurisdiction, and I've been studying it long enough. Almost my whole family is nationals, and we know pretty much a lot about it, and we know for a fact the only way I could be subjected to a court jurisdiction is through a lawyer, because the birth certificate is a void contract, and through that contract, the birth certificate contract is what makes me subjected to the court jurisdiction.
Okay. I'm going to stop you again, not because I'm disagreeing with you. I am disagreeing with you, but we don't need to resolve that right now. I want to keep going with the discussion about representation. Before I get to the next question about the consequences of self-representation, if we fast forward and play this out, eventually you are either going to be pleading guilty in this case or you're going to trial. You're going to disagree about jurisdiction. I'm going to be very respectful and say, you know what? I hear you, Mr. Pierce, and you don't think I have jurisdiction or this court has jurisdiction over you. And I may be wrong about that, but we're still moving forward. Here comes a jury. We're going to do the trial. And so we'll go through that whole process. And I may be told I'm wrong by the Supreme Court, and then I'll have to fix that, and I will fix it. But there'll be this trial. You're going to want to represent yourself, even though we're going forward with it.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what you're charged with in the indictment?
No, I haven't had. I know what I'm charged, but I haven't had nobody come talk to me about nothing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Well, that's because you said you don't want a lawyer. And so this is what we're getting into. No one's going to come talk to you about what's going on. I'll make sure you get the discovery, the paperwork in the case.
And when would I?
It's complicated. We can get you the paper stuff pretty soon. Okay. But if I'm making this up, I don't know what's in the case. But if there's video, let's say there's surveillance video, I can't give you that at the jail. It's on a disc. What are you going to do with a disc at the jail? You can't watch that. You don't have a way to watch that.
I mean, I would be signing a private investigator too, right? By me representing myself?
Nope. You don't get an investigator.
How do I do my investigations and this part of the process?
Well, we're going to talk about that, but you don't, I mean, that's a reason to say, you know what, I will take a lawyer because that lawyer will have an investigator, and that investigator.
But can I hire my own private investigator?
With your money, if you got money for it, you can hire anyone you want. but I won't be providing you money to go hire an investigator because you're saying I'm handling it myself. I got this. Mr. Pierce has it, which means your family they could be helping you, or an investigator or something like that. Or there may be some way, and I can't teach you how to do it, where you could petition to get funds for an investigator, but that's not for today. One of the consequences of representing yourself is there isn't someone who comes and sits down with you and say, let's look at this discovery. Man, the way the police handled that looks like that's a problem to me. I've been a lawyer for 20 years. I've never seen a police officer do that. That's something a lawyer could tell you after he or she reviewed all the discovery. And you won't get you're not a dummy. You could look at it and say, hey, this looks suspect, but you'd be making that decision without a lawyer helping you think about it if you represent yourself. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you seem concerned that someone hasn't already come to the jail to talk to you about what's in the indictment.
I'm not concerned. I was just
Okay.
You got something?
Yeah, that is a very classic move to say to somebody to kind of just like keep them in their lane. You know, when you're kind of trying to de-escalate, I'm not saying Judge is de-escalating, but he's trying to show them respect. And I see police officers do this all the time. You are a smart man. Hutch, you are a smart man. Let's have a civil conversation. I know how smart you are. I can tell by what you've said so far. You're intelligent. So let's get through this. We can get through this civilly. And the judge is using that on him. And it's just, every time I hear that, I'm like, he didn't mean it. He's just trying to keep him focused. That's all.
That's it.
I wasn't informed on it. I know I was supposed to get a discovery package at least, or
not yet.
report an indictment or something.
You will get it if in the end you convince me that I should let you represent yourself, then you will get all that stuff. But no one should have given you anything yet because we're on hold. Is he going to have a lawyer? Then we give the discovery to the lawyer who works with you on that. Or is he representing himself? Then we give the discovery to Mr. Pierce. And right now you're saying, I want to represent myself. And if we get through this conversation, then you'll start getting discovery. Let me tell you what you're charged with in the indictment. Count 1 charges you with murder, and it alleges that you and Mr. Baker shot and killed Samuel Curtis Harris Jr. That's count 1. Counts 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all, and 7 and 8 are all what we call felony murder, which is you and Mr. Baker caused the death of Mr. Harris by being involved in a different crime: attempted robbery, armed robbery, aggravated assault, being a convicted felon, and having a firearm. Although that's just Brandon Baker. Brandon Baker apparently was a convicted felon at the time of this murder, and the murder was in February of last year. Oh, you are too. There you are. So you had a felony conviction as well. You and Mr. Baker are charged with attempted robbery, and the allegation is, and again, these are just allegations. It's not proof of anything, but it's letting you know what you're charged with and what you'll need to defend against.
Okay.
But the attempted robbery allegation is that in February of 2024, you and Mr. Baker approached Samuel Curtis Harris Jr. on foot on Mitchell Street, right near here, with the intent to take his property. Count 10 charges you and Mr. Baker with armed robbery, saying, in fact, by using a gun, you took his property. In fact, what you took from him was a firearm. Count 11 charges you both with aggravated assault for shooting Mr. Harris. 12 is possessing a gun in connection with these crimes that I talked about. Same with 13. 14 is just Mr. Baker. 15 is you. And it says that on that date, you had a firearm, but you were a convicted felon because back in 2010, you got convicted of something in Clayton County. And also, you got convicted of something here in Fulton County in 2016. I guess that's your robbery you were talking about.
Yeah.
So the thrust of it is, the allegation is you and Mr. Baker robbed Mr. Harris and shot him, and he died as a result of that. That's what you're charged with. Today is not the day to say, I didn't do it, it was self-defense, I wasn't there. That's your defense for another time. That's what you're charged with. So,
Because I have it now?
pardon me?
How many counts I have it now?
It is,
Because I came here having 6 charges.
it's about 12 charges, but a lot of them overlap. 1 count of murder, several felony murder counts because each of those other things I mentioned, the attempted robbery, the armed robbery, the aggravated assault, that creates a felony murder count. And then you've got a couple charges all for possessing the same gun, but because of your criminal history, it can be charged in different ways.
There's your answer, Colin. There it is.
They got me charged with 3 different possession charges.
One for possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and then 2 possession of a firearm by convicted felon, because you have a serious violent felony, your armed robbery, that leads to one type of possession charge, and the other, you've got this escape conviction out of Clayton, and that supports a different type of charge for possession.
And what that charge is?
It's possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, but it's a different type of convicted felon.
I got 2 possession of firearms.
You do? Yep. And those may not be good charges. I don't know. That's what you would talk to your lawyer about, or that you'd research on your own if you're representing yourself.
All right.
All right. Do you understand what the penalties are for these charges?
Yes.
You understand that for this murder charge, you could be sentenced all the way up to life without parole, meaning you would die in prison.
Yes.
Same with all the felony murders.
Yes.
You understand that they'd all merge. You can't get more than 1 life sentence for the murders.
Say it again.
You cannot get more than 1 life sentence for the murders. You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
They'd all merge together. But depending on how the case played out, armed robbery also, you could be sentenced up to life in prison. You understand that?
Right.
Okay. And then the other offenses, they're lower sentences, but still serious. But the big one is murder with the possibility, not the guarantee, but the possibility of life or life without parole. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Do you understand that if
I'm not a United States citizen.
well, I'm not trying to trick you. Were you born in the United States?
I'm not a United States citizen. I'm a American State National.
Okay.
There we
Tell me where you were born.
I was born at Greater Hospital.
All right, a Grady baby. That's all I need to know. There are a bunch of questions I can skip if you were born at Grady Hospital. If I decide that it is appropriate for you to represent yourself, do you understand that you don't get to change your mind partway through the trial?
What you mean?
Well, here's an example. In your armed robbery trial, you were able towards the very end to say, you know what, I want to plead guilty. I want to switch it up. I'm going to plead. Let's take this away from the jury. If you go to trial as your own lawyer and we get partway through and you realize, dang, this is harder than I thought. I don't really know what I'm doing. You don't get a call, a timeout, and say, Judge, find me a lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
If we start representing yourself, we finish representing yourself. Start to finish, you understand?
Okay, so if I represent myself, later on down, I can't have my family hire me a lawyer.
That's different. That's different. I wouldn't appoint a lawyer. You could bring in a hired lawyer whenever you want, knowing that if we're in the middle of trial, you could bring someone in, but we're not going to pause the trial. That person would have to jump down next to you and say, I'm ready to go. That person couldn't say, well, I need a week to get ready. But you'd be telling a lawyer, this is a strange assignment. You're going to come represent Mr. Pierce, and he's actually on day 2 of the trial. But some lawyers might be willing to do that. So yes, your family could hire a lawyer tomorrow, next month, next week, next year. Hopefully we'll be done with your case before then. But what you could not do in the middle of trial is say, Judge, I quit. You need to go get me a lawyer. Understand? Okay. Do you understand that in almost every instance, self-representation, you being your own lawyer, is a bad idea?
That's personal opinion, right?
It is a personal opinion. I'm giving you my opinion. I think it's a bad idea.
Why?
Well, I'm about to get to that. Do you understand that if you represent yourself, you are not entitled to any special treatment? There's not a Mr. Pierce rule like, hey, he doesn't know this rule. I'm not going to apply the hearsay rules to him because he doesn't know what hearsay is. Do you understand that? Whatever rules apply to the state, and if you had a lawyer, your lawyer, they're going to be the same rules for you.
Understood.
So if you are asking questions of a witness and you really, really, really want to get this exhibit in, Judge, I need to let the jury see this. If you don't know what questions you're supposed to ask to get it in, I don't say, ask these 3 questions. You got to figure it out on your own. And if you can't, then this doesn't come in as evidence. You understand that?
I thought you were supposed to admit the evidence before you start trial.
Well, sometimes it works that way. Sometimes it doesn't. It can work that way, but sometimes in the middle of trial, like, hey, you know what? I want to admit this now. But you don't get to ask me questions about how do I do this thing.
Oh, yeah,
If there's an objection and I sustain it, and you look kind of confused, you're just going to stay confused. I don't take a time out, have the jury leave the room and say, here are the 3 things you need to do to get this piece of evidence in. You understand that?
Pause it real quick.
That's one of the reasons why I think it's a bad idea. Because
That actually nailed it. One of the reasons the judge thinks it's a bad idea. You don't know that. That is probably the hardest thing for pro se defendants to do is admit evidence. And next to the proper objections and admitting evidence, they don't know how to do it. And there's a skill to doing it correctly. And there's a completely different skill to doing it not only correctly, but efficiently and keeping the jury on board. One of the hardest things to do for people that don't have experience and haven't been to law school are those 2 things. And the fact that he just asked that question, I thought all the evidence was turned in before trial. He doesn't even know.
Nope.
Not a good look, man. All right.
Oh, also, somebody was asking about a few times about seeing the judge's face. I covered another case in here. I've never seen him.
His picture is actually the home, like the main logo on his YouTube page.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I don't know, kind of picture me with better facial hair. I feel like he has a beard. I think he does. I don't know.
He has a goatee or something like that.
I think it's a goatee. I don't know. He's a middle-aged white dude.
Yeah, but you're not going to see him on this video. So it wasn't that I removed the picture. He's just not there. Just to let the people know that was asking about it.
He's behind the reporter that's sitting right there in the white sweater. So he's there. Everyone's watching him.
Because I know you're smart and I know you've been doing some legal research, but I also know that you're not a trial lawyer. And so you might not know how to get something in evidence because you don't know which questions to ask, but you're aware of that. You know, that's the rules. Do you understand, Mr. Pierce, that by choosing to represent yourself, you may miss possible defenses, legal arguments that a lawyer could make on your behalf to try to convince the jury to find you not guilty? Understand that?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Do you understand that anytime that you fail to make what would be a valid objection, let's say the prosecutor is asking a leading question, and if you objected, I'd sustain it. If you fail to object, that evidence is coming in, and you don't get on appeal, say, wait, that evidence came in. Because if someone doesn't object, that's not anything that can ever be appealed. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you understand that I will not be making objections on your behalf? I may be thinking, this prosecutor is breaking every rule in the book with these questions, but they're rules of evidence. And it's not my job to hit the buzzer and say, that's not a fair question. It's your job to hit the buzzer and say, I object. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And I won't give you a little signal like a wink saying, hey, now's the time to object. You're on your own, sink or swim. You understand that?
I understand.
Oh.
He gives them the rules. I'm telling you, I love this judge.
Yeah, I love every time he asks a question and the defendant responds just like, okay.
He's acknowledging on the record that he knows. And that's the route he takes.
Yeah, it is. And another very unique quality of this judge is the Faretta warnings generally take about 30 seconds to a minute. This goes on. We're 34 minutes into this video. I know we paused and talked a decent amount, but this Faretta warning is a half hour long. That's how much this judge is trying to talk him out of representing himself.
He's not going to learn.
Okay. Do you understand that unless you take the stand and testify, none of the words that you say to the jury will be evidence in the case?
What you mean?
So lawyers you saw your trial. You said, hey, it ended before closings. That means you saw openings, opening statements. Then when the prosecutor got up and said, Pierce is a bad man, he did an armed robbery, you'll hear the evidence, and he held a gun to someone, whatever they thought the evidence would be. None of that is evidence. All of that is the lawyer talking, saying, here's what you may hear. you'd be free to give an opening too. And your opening might be, I wasn't there. It was all Mr. Baker. You're going to hear evidence that I was in Louisiana when this crime happened. That's not evidence that you were in Louisiana. That's just you talking to the jury. And I'll be telling the jury that nothing that you say when you're giving your opening or that the prosecutor says while she's giving her opening is evidence. It's just some guidelines that the jurors could choose to follow as they're thinking about what the case is about. The only way you would get evidence in is if you choose to testify or if you figure out how to admit exhibits.
Question.
Yeah.
What's the difference from me starting an open argument and a lawyer starting an open argument? It'll be admitted evidence if a lawyer start an open argument.
It's not. Nope. I tell the jury before we start the trial that you're going to hear from, if you represent yourself, I won't say the lawyer, I'll say you'll hear from both sides. You're going to hear from both sides an opening statement. That's not evidence. It is a preview of what each side thinks the case is about, but it's not evidence. And you didn't get to hear this because you pled out before then, but I would say, as would any judge before closing arguments, you're about to hear closing arguments. These are not evidence. These are arguments from both sides saying, here's what the evidence showed, or here's what the evidence failed to show. Evidence only comes in through someone who's under oath on the witness stand or when an exhibit is admitted, which means if you wanted to testify to get evidence in, you'd need to take the stand. And the reason for that is that's because the state gets a chance to ask you questions too. Right. Otherwise, you could just get up and give an opening saying, I didn't do it, or it was self-defense, all that kind of stuff. And you can say those things in your opening, but it's not evidence. And I'll tell the jury that. And so if you chose not to testify in your trial and you didn't put up any other evidence, then the jury wouldn't be considering what you said in your opening or your closing. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you understand that even though you know some of the law around criminal cases and this and that, if you choose not to have an attorney, you are losing the value of an independent perspective on this case, someone who is not connected to what happened or didn't happen in this case.
What do you mean by that?
One value of an attorney is that that person comes in and looks at the discovery and says, hey, I'm coming in from the outside. I wasn't there. I don't know you. I don't know Mr. Baker. I'm telling you right now, this looks real bad. There's surveillance footage and you're wearing a t-shirt that says Ricky Pierce and your fingerprints are on the gun and your DNA is at the scene. I'm making this up, but a lawyer could say all this and say, look, Pierce, you need to work this case out because the prosecution is going to run the bus over you and back it up and run it over you again with all this evidence. That's a lawyer having a hard conversation with you, if that's what the evidence was. But you also might have a good lawyer look at it and say, they have nothing on you. You were merely present. Baker had the gun. The video footage shows Baker shooting the guy, and you're standing there looking as scared as the poor guy who got shot. I don't know what the evidence is. I do know that having your own lawyer means someone who is independent, who isn't running the risk of going to prison, can look at this and say, this is a good case for you, or this is not a good case. You will never get that independent assessment of the strength and weakness of the state's case if you represent yourself.
Right.
You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't see him taking notes because he's not going to remember all that.
He's not taking notes.
That's what I'm saying.
He knows everything.
Yeah, can't wait to follow up on this.
Do you understand that the prosecution will be free to bring in the most experienced attorney it wants? I won't say, hey, Pierce isn't a lawyer, so you need to bring in a brand new prosecutor who's never tried a case before, so it's more even. Understand that?
Yes.
They could bring in the big guns, and that's your problem and not anyone else's. Understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you understand that I will not ever tell the prosecution to go easier on you as the opposing side because you're not a lawyer?
Yep.
I'll expect them to treat you as respectfully as they do defense attorneys because you ought to be, you're the other side, but they aren't going to need to pull punches with objections or anything like that. If they think something wrong has happened, they're free to object. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand that if you are found guilty at trial, you will not be able to argue on appeal that you were a bad lawyer for yourself?
Understood.
Because that's a claim that a defendant can always make if he's got a lawyer. It's called ineffective assistance. See, you know stuff. But you cannot say I was ineffective, meaning
Right.
Ricky Pierce was ineffective.
Right.
You may have been very ineffective, but you don't get to argue that if you're your own lawyer.
Understood.
All right, you're understanding all the stuff you need to. Do you understand that you will not get extra time to prepare for trial just because you're representing you're gonna have plenty of time. Trial's not tomorrow. But if you say, you know what, I need a year to get this done, I'm gonna say, no, you don't. You're not gonna get any more time than I would give the lawyer that I would appoint to represent you. Or if you hired a lawyer, I wouldn't give that lawyer a year to get ready. There's a family that's grieving because of a loss. You're sitting stuck in jail. And so we need to move this case along. I'm not going to rush it, but I'm not going to go slowly just because you represent yourself.
Understood.
All right. Do you understand? And this is something we've already talked about, but it's important we cover it again. Your ability to investigate this case and do legal research will be very limited by the fact that you're choosing to represent yourself and you're stuck in jail.
Yeah.
You got that? You appreciate that's a disadvantage,
Yeah.
but it's a disadvantage you're willing to eat.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You understand if you had a lawyer, you hired one or I appointed one, that
You say something?
That is an absolute huge disadvantage. Because you can't, just if you or I were representing ourselves right now in whatever case we were, and we're out of jail, we have all day long to find out all the LawTube, YouTube law school stuff that we need to figure out. We can do that all day long. And then we can actually do real research and figure that out as well. We can do that all day long. In jail, you're given a window. Hey, you've got 1 hour today to use the law library.
Yep.
You're being charged with murder. You have 1 hour today, and maybe not another hour for like 3 days.
Yeah. They dedicate that time to you in the jail for whatever they're going to give you. 30 minutes, 1 hour. That's it. Too many inmates in there that need to get to the law library, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
That lawyer would not be stuck in jail with you. That lawyer.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to make a comment that I have no knowledge of. It's just I can't imagine what the state of the law libraries in a jail are. Are they actual books? Are they looking online? Because if they're actual books, I just imagine you're reading law books with pages torn out, and it's just you're not getting the information you need. But if you're actually online looking through catalogs online, it might be a little different. But if you're just pulling out law encyclopedias or Black's Law Dictionary, good luck getting a whole chapter in on that.
Yeah, I see you, Silverlight. Library.
Be able to go out and you could say, hey, you need to go interview Fred Smith. And they try to find Fred Smith. And they'd have an investigator who could try to find Fred Smith. You understand that?
Yes.
You're going to need to figure out how to do that on your own. Right? Okay. Now, if you had a lawyer, you understand that lawyer could give the opening statement for you, could do the jury, we call it voir dire, but questioning jurors in advance when you're doing jury selection, could interview witnesses, subpoena witnesses, prepare jury charges, do closing arguments, cross-examine the state's witnesses. A lawyer would, should, and could do that for you if you had a lawyer. You understand that?
Yes.
And you won't have any of that if you represent yourself.
Yes.
All right. Has anyone threatened you to get you to waive your right to a lawyer?
No.
Has anyone promised you something to get you to waive your right to a lawyer?
No.
Mr. Pierce, do you want to represent yourself, at least for now, in this case, understanding that the only way you can undo that is by saying, I hired someone. Here's this lawyer for me, because otherwise you're telling me, no, I got this. You understand that?
Yes.
And do you want to represent yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I find, and I'll get this in writing and enter an order to that effect in the docket, that you're aware of the charges against you, murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, armed robbery, etc. The consequences you face if you're found guilty, up to life without parole. The advantages of having a lawyer, outside investigation, independent opinion, legal expertise, etc. The disadvantages of having no lawyer, hard to investigate, hard to do legal research. But I find that despite all those things, you have made a knowing, intelligent, as in you get it, and voluntary, no one's forcing you, waiver of your right to counsel, and you are exercising your right to represent yourself, and I'll grant you that right. Any questions about any of that?
No, sir.
Okay. We got, so two things. One, I'll make sure that, Mr. Abate, is this your case? Okay, that's your prosecutor. I'll make sure Mr. Abate gets to me as much paper discovery as they've got. Again, there's often lots of digital discovery, and I'm making this up. I don't know what's in the case, but let's say your cell phone was seized. They might have done a cell phone dump, and there's a big old file that lists all the pictures and texts, and sometimes, maybe not in this case, after something happens, Baker texts to Pierce, I can't believe we shot that guy. And Pierce says to Baker, hey, we need to not talk about this anymore. I heard the dude died. That's great evidence for the state, but that's digital evidence. And so that might not be something that can be handed to you to look at in
How would
jail.
I access?
So what you'll get is all the paper discovery as well as a list of what is the digital discovery, body cam footage, surveillance footage. And then you would let me know. We'll have a status conference so I can see how things are going. Hey, Judge, there's some things I need to watch. And we would set up a time when you could be here and there'd be a laptop and that stuff would be there and you could watch it and take notes, whatever you need to do. It's not convenient for you, but that's how it works when you are representing yourself and you're stuck in jail. So my answer is not you can never see it until trial. It's just we have to develop a little bit of a workaround. And so you'd be watching it here. You can't just watch it anytime you want. We'll set up a specific time, and that's how you digest it.
Real quick, because I don't want to miss it, Double M, thank you. And Colin, he says, see, great team, both great channels. Appreciate that.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Double M. Had to give you that shout out now. They wanted to get lost.
Okay. I'm not saying there's any digital discovery, but if there is, that's how we do it. So I'll get from the state the discovery. We'll figure out how to get it to you. Either we'll bring you over here and hand it to you. That's often my preference because it's on the record. I see you getting the discovery, or through the sheriff's office, we'll get it to you. Are you at Rice Street?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get it to you at Rice Street. Mr. Abate, what would you say the ratio is in this case of paper discovery to digital discovery?
A lot of digital discovery.
Okay.
Like Mr. Baker's cell phone extraction. And there's a lot of video surveillance, some of which this defendant, Mr. Pierce, is seen in high definition video shooting the victim in the head.
Okay, so there are things he'll need to see.
Yeah.
Okay. When you generate the paper discovery, would you please include, you don't need to list the description of each video, but 9 surveillance footage, 9 surveillance videos, 2 body cams, whatever the generic count is. So Mr. Pierce knows, and then he can be keeping track. Wait a minute, I've only seen 1 body cam and it says there are 2. We can sort that out. Thank you. So you'll get the paper discovery, and then clearly we're going to need to figure out a time when you can come here and watch it. You get to watch it privately. The prosecutor's not going to be there while you're doing it because you may have a reaction to it, and take notes, whatever you need to do. That's number 1. Number 2, are there things that you think we need to talk about now, or now that you represent yourself, are there instead things that you want to get in writing and file as motions?
All right, Trish, thank you. I appreciate it. And you always in here at night with me. So thank you.
Yes, I have 2 motions that I want to file. I have them wrote up now
Hi, Sly.
in my thing, and there's a lot of issues that I have to address as far as with me being a national, just putting it on a record for my benefits.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's do 2 things. 1, I want you to put on the record, we want to just do it. You're free every time we're in court together to remind me that you're American State National and you don't think that there's jurisdiction. But what I would ask you to do, you're going to share, it sounds like a fair amount right now, to get it on the record. We only need it on the record once because you will have made that record. And then in the future, all you need to do is say, hey, I rely on the record I made. You don't even need to state the date, but that I made before about my objection to jurisdiction or whatever you want to call what you're about to share. So I'll always let you make a record, but I will push back a little bit if next time I see you, like, hey, I need to make that same record again. No, you don't. You made it, and you only need to make it once. And then there's a transcript so that if you need to take something up on appeal, they only need to read it once. All right?
Would I get transcript from every court proceeding? Or how do that work? Do I have to file for it?
So
or automatically get it to me? I'm representing myself.
So every time Ms. Rivers is taking something down, we can create a transcript. We don't immediately generate transcripts because, for example, if you go to trial and you're found not guilty, we don't need to create a transcript of any of that because you're done. You go home. If you're found guilty, then we need to make transcripts of everything because all that goes to the Supreme Court for the appeal. Between now and your trial, we typically don't create transcripts unless, just as an example, let's say we had a suppression hearing and the lead detective testified and talked a lot about the work that she did on the case. Everyone wants a transcript of that because she's going to come back at trial. And if her story changes, then someone wants to say, wait a minute, you were in court 2 months ago and you said Mr. Pierce was wearing a blue shirt and now you're saying he's wearing a red shirt. Which one is it? And the jurors are wondering, why is this detective changing her story? But things we're saying today, that kind of transcript we'd make only if you're found guilty and we need to push stuff up to the Supreme Court. But it is being preserved if Ms. Rivers is here and doing what she needs to do, which she is. So why don't you briefly share with me the things you want to get on the record?
All right, pause it.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that I'm American State.
All right. If anybody needs a bathroom break or refill your drink, we're about to get 20 to 25 minutes of nonstop yelling.
Oh, yeah.
And I challenge you all to this. I said this in my video covering this. How many times does he say jurisdiction? How many times? Now, my video I asked at the end, so we need an actual counter. I've got the number that I counted, and I want to see if I'm right on this.
Okay, we could do a jurisdiction count. That's all right.
Count. How many times is he gonna say it?
Oh yeah. So yeah, Colin, like Colin said, you want to get a quick drink? Go ahead.
Stand up, stretch because you're gonna need it. We got 20 minutes of just straight yelling coming up. Doing my stretches right now.
Yeah, Colin is stretching because he's tired. That's why.
I keep turning my camera off because I keep coughing. So I might actually turn my camera off for this because you don't want to see me struggling over here, and then I'll turn it on after he's done yelling.
But see, if you turn your camera off, you might not come back because you might doze off.
That's fair.
All right, do what you got to do. We're gonna keep it going. Y'all ready? Let's go.
National, which is a private American. I'm here on a special appearance to administer the affairs of the All Caps Trust. I am the living man, Ricky DeMond Pierce, and not the All Caps Legal Fishing Corporation or dead entity. I stand on the land and soil jurisdiction, and that's the highest jurisdiction on the man. This is my oral request of me changing the court's jurisdiction over me here today. I have not contracted with the court in any kind of way, and I don't plan on contracting with the court in the near future. I have been forced to come here against my will and God-given rights under threats enforced by your government officials, which is kidnapping. Your courts have no jurisdiction over me, and I stand on the land and soil jurisdiction to have proof of it when I came to court on January the 30th, 2025. Your courts, plus in Louisville versus Motley, if any tribunal finds absent of proof of jurisdiction over a person and subject matter, the case must be dismissed. Your court's jurisdiction is the jurisdiction of the sea, which is the admiralty and maritime laws, which is also a military tribunal, and the courts are known as a ship of war, a privateer, or a battleship. I am under public law, which is common law, which is also the law of the land, natural law, God's law. I have God-given rights that can't be violated, and the courts are under admiralty and maritime laws, which is a foreign law to sea jurisdiction. See Article 3, Section 2 of the United States Constitution. and no living people live there, only dead persons, legal fictions, corporations, and dead entities. Because all cities are considered dead entities, which is another reason why you have to dismiss this case, because the living cannot be judged by the dead. Another problem the courts have, because my God-given right says I have to be tried amongst my peers and a jury of living people, which is American state nationals, and also can't happen because our nationals is not under the court's jurisdiction and will not show one order because they hold a higher jurisdiction. In the original Constitution, Section 3, Article 3, Section 2 states that the United States, the corporation judicial power is under admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. And I am under the land and soil jurisdiction, and I have gave courts proof for this when I came to court January the 30th, 2025. I also mailed off my executive letter, the notice that President Trump sent out January the 4th of this year, letting all patriots know that these laws have been dissolved due to breach of oath, due to fraud and breach of oath for office. And I also mailed off a copy of my certified mail. I mailed off certified mail and have been received. I am also requesting your oath of office, Your Honor. The notice that Trump sent out goes as follows. Notice to patriots, date January the 4th, 2025. This is to inform all patriots that effective immediately, our government and government corporations are hereby dissolved due to breach of oath. Additionally, our statutory and foreign laws are also dissolved. The only legal framework that remains in effort are constitutional law as outlined in Article 61 of the Magna Carta and established common law. This directive is especially for corporate bodies and government workers. Any government corporate body, including police, judges, lawyers, and any individuals operating in these capacities must cease operation immediately. Those who continue to operate after this notice will be liable for prosecution for fraud and breach of oath. It is imperative that all government workers comply with this directive. Failure to adhere may result in serious consequences and even including potential military actions. I declare on the penalty of perjury on the public law of the United States of America, the de jure government, from without the United States of America, the de facto government, and without the United States of America, the corporation territories. I reject, renounce, and remove all powers of attorney granted to me or issued under my name prior to this day. My birth certificate was the only contract that subjected me to these laws, but the birth certificate contract is void because I was only a minor and had no knowledge of this contract when it was constructed, which makes this contract void, which means the court lacks subject matter jurisdiction over me. I am no longer an employee of the government, which is the corporation government. I declare on the penalty of perjury on the public law of the capital T, United States of America, the de jure government, that I reject, renounce, and remove any and all alliance to any king or prince, any foreign state, any foreign government or flag. I declare on the penalty of perjury on the public law of the United States of America, the de jure government, that I have never knowingly, wittingly, or voluntarily pleaded myself to any incorporated entity at all, but including but not limited to any incorporated church, synagogue, masjid, or temple. I declare on the penalty of perjury on the public law of the United States of America, the de jure government, that I have never knowingly, wittingly, or voluntarily pleaded myself of any foreign state, foreign sovereign, or separated myself from my birthright political status as American state national. I declare, publish, and affirm on the penalty of perjury on the public law of the United States of America that I am a lawful inheritor, acting with full rights and authority, responsibility, and honor now and always while my tenure on earth shall last. I, the living man, Ricky DeMond Pierce, affirm and declare that I have returned to my lawful birthright political status as a Georgian, and I have copyrighted and trademarked the all caps name, which is a trust and not the living me. I have occupied my executive office and never gave the courts any permission to use the all caps name, which is fraud. I have over 40 violations that the courts have committed upon me and my God-given rights as American state national. And I have counted over $800 million in violations over the time that I have been incarcerated at Fulton County Jail, these 150 plus days, and it's only adding up as I sit in Fulton County Jail against my will and consent. And they are as follows. 1, These are all combined municipal and territorial notices of violations against Americans with failure to perform any and all occurrences listed below in this section, starting at $10 million. A, notice of claim of sole relief and remedy. B, notice of violation of the Lanham Act, attempted attachment and seizure of unregistered trademarks, Title 15, Section 1125, 8 and 11. Notice of violation of admiralty and maritime and prior cases, Title 25, Section 1331, 1, 2, and 12. D, notice of violation for special maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the United States, Title 18, Section 7, 1, 3, 8, and 13. E, notice of violation of the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act of Title 39, Sections 1-3908 and 3621-3591. F, notice of violation of presumption of the Public Vessel Act, Title 46, U.S.C.A. Appendix, Section 781 through 790, as originally enacted. G, notice of violation of the False Claim Act, Title 31, U.S.C.A. Sections 3729A and 7. H, notice of violation of the Foreign Sovereign Immunity Act, Title 28, Section 1602 through 1611. I, notice of violation of the United States Statute at Large Act, Title 12, Section 411. K, notice of violation of the Geneva Conventions by the United States Department of Defense.
Mr.
and United
Pierce,
States.
Mr. Pierce, I'm going to just pause you for
He's
1
dropping
second.
the
You were on
Geneva
K. How many
Convention.
letters? I want to make sure
I'm
you're almost done because we're getting into international stuff and that's getting a little far afield.
All right. 2, private easements fee schedule. Penalty for private use, $250,000. These fees will be mandated upon the informant listed on the warrant, citation tickets, arrest warrants, detention orders, and seizure orders. Compulsion to produce trade name or other identification materials. A, name, $50,000. E, fingerprints, $200,000. F, photographing, $200,000. G, DNA, $5 million. Blood sample,
Get that money.
$5 million. Personal property, trespass, carjacking, theft, interference with commerce or trade. M, color law, $150,000. N,
Amen.
implied color law, $150,000.
Oh,
T, fraud, $1 million. U, fraud upon the courts, $2 million. BB, stimulating legal process, $1 million. Use of trade name and copyrighted protected material on
like the rest of the album?
duress and or coercion. Name written by a informant, $250,000. Miscellaneous material written by a informant, $500,000. Court appearance fee
might as
schedule.
well.
These fees must be paid immediately after my case is finished. Failure to pay fines and fees will result in an additional fee of $5,000 for breach of contract. Demand for appearance in court. My appearance on a protest and duress per hour, 1 hour minimum, $75,000. Use of
that
trade
money.
name material.
How many more pages do you have?
I have quite a few.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
so
so
I'm
hyped.
wondering if, and I'm not going to curtail you too much, but you'll be able to file that, which will make it even more of a record if you want it to be filed, or you could give it to me and I'll file it for you. But that's up to you. What I don't want to do is I want to make sure we're moving your case forward, and this is pretty lengthy. It might be more efficient to have it filed into the docket so that we actually see, hey, there it is in the computer system.
I really need to get it on the record, and I need to file the motion to be able to address these issues also. I have the motions already wrote. If you give me a little time, I can get through it pretty quick.
Well, I don't want you to read too fast because Ms. Rivers needs to be able to take it down. Would you say we're more than halfway through, or are we not more than halfway through?
Yeah, we halfway through.
Exactly half or more than half?
Exactly half, because it's 20 pages. I'm on 11 now.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Well, let's go. Don't read too fast, but don't read too slowly.
Trespass and failure to act fee schedule.
Hold on.
No,
I love how he just dropped his tone as he was answering those questions. Like, oh yeah, no, I really want to put this on the record. I'm about halfway through. I'm on page 11 out of 20. It's like, all right, All right, you can continue. And he goes
Yeah.
right back to yelling. He went
Yeah.
from here to here instantly.
Oh my
I'm
God.
so hyped right now. Tell
Y'all
him.
are cracking me up in the chat,
Tell him.
especially with the coercion. Yeah.
Version.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm over here crying right now.
We're at 15 jurisdictions, by the way. We're at
15? I lost
15
count because they
jurisdictions.
making me laugh.
Use of trade name
This is the
material.
speech of the century right here.
Yes. Yes.
How are you not hyped? He is telling the government. He is
Well,
telling them.
you see, Colin has awakened a little bit. He's back there having a good time.
I got to pretend like this is like a pep talk, and it's getting me through because he's yelling. He's yelling, and when you're yelling,
not a TED talk, huh? A pep talk. You understand?
Pep talk.
Okay.
He's hyping. Okay.
Name on the protest and duress, 25,000. Miscellaneous material, 25,000. Time uses for court appearance, 30 minutes on the protest and duress, 33,500. 60 minutes on the protest and duress, 75,000. 90 minutes or more on the protest and duress, 100,000. Trespass and failure to act fee schedule. Trespass by public officials, police officers, judges, detectives, attorneys, corporations, and other fictitious entities as well as any other who desire the contract. A, trespass on American homestead land, $10 million. C, failure of attorney to file requested FARA form, $1 million. Failure to accept American State National card, $1 million. Failure to honor God-given rights, $20,000. Failure to honor oath of office, $50,000. Failure to honor constitutional oath, $50,000. Failure to honor written and oral word.
I have to make one comment because I'm actually listening to what he's saying now. When I covered this video, I just kind of blurred this out. Like I was just like, oh, it's all whatever. If you line by line, he said violation of trespass, $1 million. Violation of my God-given rights, $20,000. How is trespass at $1 million, but your God-given rights are at $20,000? I feel like his scale needs to be changed a little bit.
He's just making up numbers.
Yes, he's like going through, just adding them. All right, I'm sorry.
No,
Sorry
you're good, man. This is crazy.
$5,000. Failure to honor no bond, honor a bond/no bond, $5,000. Detention from free movement and or cuff per hour, 1 hour minimum, $75,000. Incarceration per hour, 1 hour minimum, $75,000.
Got it.
Per 1
Have you
hour?
ever watched an entire criminal trial before?
Corporate bodies and government workers. Any government corporate body, including police, judges, lawyers, and any individuals operating in these capacities must cease operation immediately. Those who continue to operate after this notice will be liable for prosecution for fraud and breach of oath. It is imperative that all government workers comply with this directive. Failure to adhere may result in serious consequences and even including potential military actions. I declare on a penalty of perjury on the public law of the United States of America, the de jure government, from without the United States of America, the de facto government, and without the United States of America, the corporation territories. I reject, renounce, and remove all powers of attorney granted to me or issued under my name prior to this day. My birth certificate was the only contract that subjected me to these laws, but the birth certificate contract is void because I was only a minor and had no knowledge of this contract when it was constructed, which makes this contract void, which means the court lacks subject matter jurisdiction over me.
Hold on.
I am no longer.
That might be my favorite line that he said. First off, we have 16 now. He said jurisdiction again. But he just said, my birth certificate as a contract is invalid because I was only a minor. Can we break that down? Can we break that down? My birth certificate is an invalid contract because I was only a minor. I don't know why you need the word only in there. But that's kind of how birth certificates work. And how is a birth certificate a contract? All right.
I have no clue. This guy's just going crazy.
This is so much fun to listen to him, though.
Yeah,
I'm having the. This is awesome. I'm glad you invited me up so I could listen to this again and actually pay attention to what he's saying.
Hey, you're welcome anytime. Let's keep going.
an employee of the government, which is the corporation government, I declare on the penalty of perjury on the public law of the capital T, United States of America, the de jure government, that I reject, renounce, and remove any and all alliance to any king or prince, any foreign state, any foreign government or flag. I declare on the penalty of perjury on the public law of the United States of America, the de jure government, that I have never knowingly, wittingly, or voluntarily pleaded myself to any incorporated entity at all, but including but not limited to any incorporated church, synagogue, mascot, or temple. I declare on the penalty of perjury on the public law of the United States of America, the de jure government, that I have never knowingly, wittingly, or voluntarily pleaded myself of any foreign state, foreign sovereign, or separated myself from my birthright political status as American state national. I declare, publish, and affirm on the penalty of perjury on the public law of the United States of America that I am a lawful inheritor, acting with full rights and authority, responsibility, and honor now and always while my tenure on earth shall last. I, the living man, Ricky DeMond Pierce, affirm and declare that I have returned to my lawful birthright political status as a Georgian, and I have copyrighted and trademarked the all caps name, which is a trust and not the living me. I have occupied my executive office and never gave the courts any permission to use the all caps name, which is fraud. I have over 40 violations that the courts have committed upon me and my God-given rights as American state national. And I have counted over $800 million in violations over the time that I have been incarcerated at Fulton County Jail, these 150 plus days, and it's only adding up as I sit in Fulton County Jail against my will and consent. And they are as follows. 1, these are all combined municipal and territorial notices of violations against Americans with failure to perform any and all occurrences listed below in this section, starting at $10 million. A, notice of claim of sole relief and remedy. B, notice of violation of the Landman Act, attempted attachment and seizure of unregistered trademarks, Title 15, Section 1125, 8, and 11. Notice of violation of admiralty and maritime and prior cases, Title 25, Section 1331, 1, 2, and 12. D, notice of violation for special maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the United States, Title 18, Section 7, 1, 3, 8, and 13. E, notice of violation of the post.
I might have went back a little bit.
No, this is how he started. This is how he started. No, let it go.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I did hit it a little bit. I was like, oh shoot, did I go back? Okay, so we good. All right.
No, this is how he started his speech when he was saying the maritime law and whatever.
Okay.
The Accountability and Enhancement Act of Title 39, Sections 1-3908 and 3621-3591. F, notice of violation of presumption of the Public Vessel Act, Title 46, U.S.C.A. Appendix, Section 781 through 790, as originally enacted. G, notice of violation of the False Claim Act, Title 31, U.S.C.A. Sections 3729A and 7. H, notice of violation of the Foreign Sovereign Immunity Act, Title 28, Section 1602 through 1611. I, notice of violation of the United States Statute at Large Act, Title 12, Section 411. K, notice of violation of the Geneva Conventions by the United States Department of Defense.
Mr. Pierce.
What's up?
Yeah, you skip backwards because he doesn't bring up the Geneva question twice. The Geneva.
All right,
thing
let
twice.
me go up a little bit. Yeah, when I paused it one of the times, I went back a little bit, and I thought I fixed it. Hold on. Let me go up a little bit. Let's see where we at. Sorry about that, y'all.
Practices, misrepresentation, and lack of subject matter jurisdiction. Your Honor, I, the petitioner, case will not being handled in the proper courts, which is common law courts. I, the petitioner, was not put on notice by a state-appointed attorney that my case will not handled in the proper courts. I, the petitioner, never signed a contract to be subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and or the District of Columbia. Again, the birth certificate and social security card are voidable contracts that was constructed when I, the petitioner, was a minor. So these contracts could have not been knowingly, voluntarily, or willingly consented to because as a minor, I, the petitioner, lacked the capacity to do so. Again, I am making a clear and unequivocal demand to petition the state to show up in proper persona. The state is a legal entity, and a legal entity is an artificial person. And an artificial person is a corporation, which cannot appear in proper persona. See case law, Penhollow versus DOANES. This vagueness doctrine may invalidate criminal law for two independent reasons. First, it may fail to give a proper kind of notice that will enable ordinary people to know what kind of conduct to prohibit. Second, it may authorize and even encourage arbitrary and discriminatory enforcement. Your Honor, a basic principle of due process that a law is unconstitutional if its prohibitions are not clearly defined. Plus, the petitioner cannot owe a debt in a bankrupt nation, and no title of nobility shall be granted by the United States. See the United States Constitution. Again, Your Honor, the petitioner cannot have a fair and impartial trial when the judge, the jury, the bailiff, the district attorney, and public defender all work for the state and are one and the same. See the case law, the Maggie Hamlet case. Your Honor, the Constitution is a chapter of negative liabilities. Liberties, excuse me. It tells the state to let people alone. It does not require the federal government or even the state to provide services, even so elementary as maintaining law and order. See case law ID, period, CF.OLMSTEAD.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, hold on a second anyway. Jenny, thanks. You just became a member. I appreciate that. Should I say it like this? Or I should say, Jenny, you just became a member. I.E. Thank you very much.
I.E. Section B, Article 42. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, go ahead, Colin. What you got?
I completely agree. He finally said something I agree with. There is absolutely no way he can get a fair and impartial trial when the bailiff works for the state. There's no way. He brought in the bailiff. He's absolutely right. The bailiff will turn the tables on you. Literally, he might actually turn the tables on you. But that was the first point that made sense. He brought the bailiff into it. Yeah, the bailiff is impartial. He wants to tackle your ass right now because he wants lunch.
Yeah, he's ready to go.
He's like, I've got a date tonight. What are you doing? You can see him like he's leaning against the wall, like, man, really?
Yeah, they've been standing there for a while. Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, let's keep it going. Oh, those of you that's watching right now, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that, right, Colin? Huh?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Come on, give it to me. Give me 2 thumbs up. You know I said it before. All right.
No. 2 thumbs up means it cancels it out. You got to only do 1 thumbs up. If you do 2,
that's an inside joke for the channel. Don't give it 2 thumbs up and then erase the thumb. Okay.
Yeah. We don't erase things here. We just
keep it going.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's listen to some more.
It's way too late for me.
Oh no, you're doing good, man. You're doing good. I appreciate it. Okay, thanks for hanging in there with me.
Versus United States 277 US.438 and 478 1928. And again, Your Honor, any judge or magistrate who does not comply with his or her oath to the Constitution of the United States, wars against that Constitution, and engages in acts of violation of the supreme law of the land. The judge is engaged in acts of treason. See case law, Cooper versus AURON, 358 US.1, 78 CF.1401, 1958. Your Honor, the authentication of my birth certificate signed by the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Washington, D.C., and the Governor of Georgia is admitting that the government made a mistake by making me to abide by a void contract and subjecting me to the jurisdiction and laws of the government when I had no knowledge of this contract and was too young to even know that this contract exists, that the government tricked me and my parents into without our knowledge and consent. And the courts have a copy of my birth certificate authentication also. Your Honor, I am a private American, which is American State National, and cannot be represented by a bar attorney because an attorney is an officer of the court and will automatically subject me to the court jurisdiction.
And I hear you on that, which is why we had the first part of our conversation. And I've
So hyped. That was the speech of the century.
Yeah,
We're gonna be listening to that speech. You know, when I was a kid, it was "I have a dream." That was the speech. That was the speech that got you pumped up. Like, yeah,
That's
you
right.
know what? That was a speech that changed things.
That's
Now it's
right.
gonna be. I don't I don't even have a line. I remember he brought up the Geneva Convention. Other than that, what else did he say? Oh, the bailiff and the Geneva Convention. Yeah,
There
go
you go.
bailiffs. Go
Yeah.
Geneva Convention. Let's
There you-
go.
There you go. Oh, AF Guy Trumpet, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that. So check out that community post because I got a special perk that's not listed in the perk. Okay. You got to check it out after this. Go look for it. And Aqua Queen will elaborate on it. She going to take care of it. Okay. Let's go.
Onlyfeet.com.
There you go.
concluded that you've got the ability to and the desire to represent yourself. We'll do that. I appreciate you making that record. As you and I agreed, you won't need to do that again. You've now made all those objections, made it very clear that there's $1 billion plus, and I get it that number is increasing. Every day you're in custody and people are trying to contract with you when they shouldn't, all that. You've made a healthy record of that. You are welcome to file things now because you are your own attorney. You can now file things of record into the docket. But when we see each other again for whatever the next court event is, we can use a shorthand where you can say, I renew the objections that I made on the record when I was last in court. And that way you're not going to need to break your vocal cords by going through that again. But that was very thorough, and I appreciate you making that record.
So is I can leave these motions here today?
So this one time, I'll take responsibility for filing things for you.
You know what, I'll wait, because I still have some other.
You want to do more work on it?
Yeah.
Okay. There is a
Take
way
advantage of
for
that.
you to file things from the jail, and they ought to tell you about that, but you can get things to the clerk's office. Don't mail them to me, because if you mail them to me, I'm not the clerk. They won't get in the docket. They go into my inbox, and I've got my Pierce collection. You should also know if you send things to me, I probably need to send them to the prosecutor as well, because we can't have what we call ex parte conversations. In the same way that the prosecutor can't call me and say, let me tell you what Pierce did. That won't happen. If Mr. Abate wants to talk about this case, you need to be in the loop as well. And so we'll bring you over here, or if it's real simple and technical, we'll get you in a Zoom booth so you can see and hear. But if it's anything substantive, you'll be here in person in open court for that. Okay? So what I see as our next steps, then I'll see if the prosecutor has anything else, and I'll see if you have anything else, is that I'm going to get a scheduling order in that gives a deadline for Mr. Abate to get together the paper discovery and then a list of what the digital discovery is, and we'll figure out how best to get that to you. I need to enter an order that says you get to represent yourself, so that's in there, and then we move forward.
Okay, cool.
What about you? Yeah.
Last time I was here when I went to trial, they had where I went to the law library and look at video footage. That's not possible anymore. Well, yeah,
I don't know. Meaning you went to the law library at the jail,
yeah.
and you were able to
They had an officer supervise me to watch the videos.
Okay, why don't you ask? That's a question you need to ask the folks out there. I don't control the sheriff's security protocol. They may still do that. They may have cut it off because someone said it's video footage and instead it was an adult movie or something. And that's not you, but someone may have done something that abused that privilege. So ask, and if the answer is there's a way to do it, we'll make it happen. What I do know works, because I did it
You calling me?
Yeah, you're ruining the lot. You're ruining the law library. I can't even say that. You're ruining the law library for everyone.
Me?
Yeah, they just said that. They said the last time that they sent Defendant to the law library with DVDs, it was you, and there was adult videos instead of the videos for the file. They specifically said Hutch.
Oh no, they didn't say my name. No, they did not. No, they didn't. They said cooler with Colin. That's what they said. You understand?
That's exactly. All right, Denzel. Calm down.
Okay, no, I'm good. Okay, you ready? You ready for me to start it back up? Let's
go.
Okay, let's go. Okay, all right.
The last time I had a pro se defendant is that he came here and we had a laptop. The prosecutor brought in a laptop and said, here's the directory, here are the 5 videos. Prosecutor went away and you hit play and you got to watch them. Took whatever notes you wanted and then you went back. So worst case scenario, we'll do that. But if you figure out there's a way to do it at the jail, then we can talk about making that work.
Who I need to contact? I think I need to contact the sheriff office, the sheriff or something.
It would be someone at the jail. I don't know who you talk to if you want to go to the law library or if you've got a headache and you want a pain pill. I would talk to staff out at the jail. Hey, if I want to do X, is there a way to do it? If they say there's not, then we got to do it over here.
All right.
Okay.
Understood.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Mr. Abadi, what do we have from the state?
So on the last issue you just, or Mr. Pierce just raised, I don't believe the jail does that anymore.
I don't either, but
the USB and the or CD, they just don't allow that kind of, what they would call.
So
we can act, or he can ask, obviously, but just for efficiency purposes, I think.
Start with the law library. Just see the law library still do it.
you should ask, but don't be disappointed if the answer is no. I think there were issues with, a USB drive is so small and it ends up in someone's pocket and then it's on the 7 North and I'm not saying you did.
Is it part of me possible I ain't got to tell you, they can stick it in, sit there, with me to watch the whole video.
Hey, if you can sell it and make them do it, that's great. I'm not saying no. It's not my call. It's not his call. That's 100% the chief jailer's call. And they may have said, we're not doing it anymore. And if they're not, then you come over here and we'll make it happen. Anything else?
No, Your Honor, I'll get paper discovery this week.
Great.
To Your Honor, and then I will, in abundance of caution, put all the digital media on the drive just in case.
Good.
And regardless.
Well, and that'll be helpful because if you include that with the paper discovery, then you don't even need to be in. If we can get our hands on a laptop, then we'll let you know when Mr. Pierce is coming over, but we may not need to impose on you to show up with the stuff loaded on a computer. I don't know. I don't want to get in the middle of the technical stuff, but I do want to enable Mr. Pierce to see what the state has.
I have no problem logging in the laptop when he's here. We did that with Judge Ingram on multiple occasions. It seemed to work pretty efficiently.
Good. I think so.
And Mr. Pierce is an ANC recidivist, so he is facing a convicted and mandatory life without parole sentence.
Okay. And is there a recidivist notice in the docket?
Not at the moment. I intend to file it.
Okay.
Dark Scorpion, welcome to the membership. I appreciate you joining, okay? Thank you very much. Right, Colin? Colin getting sleepy.
I am getting sleepy, but I smile every time you do that. Every time you do that voice, I smile.
Oh, well, thank you. All right. It's almost over too, y'all. It's almost over.
Mr. Pierce, I'm going to translate that for you. You may already know what it means.
You are kidnapping me. I'm here under threats and duress of coercion.
You said that when you came in here. You understood the rules. Remember that? Yeah. We're almost finished. Get you some coffee.
But because of your criminal history, the state has the ability to file a pleading, which it sounds like they're going to do, that if you're found guilty, and all of this is contingent on a jury finding you guilty. If they find you not guilty, none of this matters.
Okay.
But it's a big if. And if a jury comes back with guilty, I had mentioned that the maximum possible penalty was life without parole. But if you'd never been in trouble before, that's not a mandatory sentence. Life, I'd have to impose life, but I have the option to choose between life without parole or life. Unless you've got sufficient criminal history and the state files this notice. And if they do that and they've got certified copies of your convictions, then that takes that discretion away from me. And the only sentence you can get is life without parole. And that may be where we end up, but they haven't filed it yet. When they do, we'll figure it out. But it's important that you be on notice of that, because sometimes the defendant thinks like, hey, you know what, if I'm found guilty, it'll be life. That's a long time, but it's parole after 30 years. But if life without parole is the only option, it just may make you think differently about the case. Don't know, but we'll keep you posted. Okay? I appreciate everyone's patience. Mr. Pierce, we'll get you back here either because you filed something we need to talk about, or it's time for you to look at the digital discovery. All right?
So, question before we go. How much do I have, like a certain amount of time to file all the motions that I need to file, or how do that work?
So there'll be a scheduling order that comes out, and we'll need to make sure it gets to you. And that's got a deadline for the state to get discovery. And then you've got a deadline after that, so you can see all the discovery to file motions. You can always file a motion later on. I just don't promise you that I'll get to it before we get to trial, because you want to avoid a defendant just before trial. It's like, oh, I got another motion and another motion. So you're going to want to start filing things. If you already have them here, put them down on paper and start filing them. But you'll get this scheduling order that's got the cutoff where anything filed after that date is out of time, and I can choose to ignore it, and I don't get in trouble with the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Okay?
And question, I know I've been having a conflict with attorneys, so does my time from this day, today on forward, start me to file my speedy trial? I know it's a certain time frame for you to file a speedy trial, so does that time frame start now, since we have an understanding?
Right. It started from when you were indicted and not now. So you can still file, well, I'm not going to give you advice. You should file what you want to file, and we'll work through whether it's a mandatory speedy trial or if it's a discretionary one. But I'll tell you, no one's interested in slowing this down. Mr. Baker is on a trial calendar that starts in a week. And I'm having to slow that down because really you two ought to be tried together, unless someone can convince me that you shouldn't be tried together.
You're gonna try it together even if I'm not a citizen?
Yep. We can try a citizen next to a non-citizen. That's not, the only reason you don't try people together is if there are reasons why there's some evidence that can only come in if they have separate trials. But I leave that up to the lawyers and you to work through that. My default is always to try co-defendants together. And Mr. Baker's case is ready for trial. So if you say, I want a speedy trial, no one's going to say, no, let's slow it down. They'll want to move it along. But you file what you want to file, and I promise you we'll work through it, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, deputies. You can take Mr. Pierce back.
There is no way it's over. I thought we still had like 87 minutes left.
No.
Whew. He doesn't want to be tried next to his friend. Like, you can't narc on him if he's sitting right next to me. Like, how am I going to say it was all his fault if he's sitting right next to me?
He's trying to make a deal.
Next to him.
Yeah, he's trying to make a deal, huh?
Yeah.
Whew.
All right. To answer the question about how many times jurisdiction was stated.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I counted it through the entire video on mine, and I counted 22 in total. Now, that wasn't just during his speech. I think I only counted 17 or 18 during his speech, but I don't really know because, you know, you're as great as tech as I am, and you accidentally rewound it. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. Instead of hitting play, you just, right above it, there's the little bar, and you accidentally just move it back.
Yep, that's what I did when I stopped at one of the times. Yeah, I try not to do that because that bar is kind of small, but I don't know. Did anybody else count?
So I saw someone guess 23, and I wanted to say that was a really good guess because that might be the right answer. I counted 22 when I did my video, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to count because there were a couple times he said like he repeated himself because he got caught up on his tongue.
Mm-hmm.
He almost said jurisdiction, and he knew that he was pronouncing it incorrectly. Say, yeah, you don't have subject matter jurisdiction. That's not right. Jurisdiction.
Oh, Mel, I know you're going to be sending me in the email another bingo card. She made some bingo cards. She's one of my members, and it was a good one, too. And, yeah, Harry just gave us a shout-out, Colin. He said, first live. Hutchin Collins.
What's up, Harry?
Live. Yeah.
What is up, Harry? I've been laughing at the chat.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with y'all in the chat. Seriously, like, I really like this. That's why I kind of going towards the lives a little bit more because I like interacting with y'all. It's really fun, especially when we got a good sovereign citizen video.
Yeah. It's hard to laugh when this is why the community is awesome. Having the chat and being able to watch this with people. Mm-hmm. Someone lost their life, and we're here. We're watching it. We all feel that. We all feel how much all the weight that's on this case. Mm-hmm. But we're still enjoying each other's company. We're not letting it ruin our days. We still feel for them. Like there's still a lot of victims out there, the victim's family. But we're still able to, enjoy our company and have a good night. So it's important to do these things with people because if you just sat there and did this by yourself, you would be, I don't know. I'd get angry. I start yelling at the guy instead of being hyped up by his awesome speech, I'd be like, man, stop talking.
Oh, James said much more fun than watching the video too. Oh, Rex 2161 just became a member. Thank you.
It's
I'm gonna have a
raining
lot of
green
people to
tonight.
chat with. You got to check out that membership community post though, because there's something in there. So I'll just spill it. I have a
It's not
app. Huh?
.com. I lied earlier. It's not onlyfeet.com. I lied.
It's not who?
I said earlier when you said I got a special perk. I'm like onlyfeet.com. And I just said I lied. That's not it.
Oh, that's not it. Yeah.
I lied.
Yeah, so there's a proprietary app you'll get access to, and then we can all chat. A lot of us chat in there in the group. Trish, I haven't seen you in there in a little bit. I know you've probably been busy. I think it's a couple of you, but they kind of pop in and out. But once it gets going, some nights they be up in the middle, like this time of night for us, Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, so that's the extra perk that's not listed on the perks. And then once you get in, we just get in there and we can chat about whatever. So yeah, the lives are good. I still see people saying that. But I can tell you, I like how Judge McBurney runs that courtroom with sovereign citizens. Because think about it. It was annoying, but he put everything on the record. And he told him that in the beginning. So when he comes back, it's done. He said we're not repeating anything. So he got it all out one time. Now he don't have to deal with it. Maybe it's some of the other courts. Just let them talk and say what they're gonna say. Like, okay, you made your record. All right, that's it. But I like him.
I will tell you that Judge Slavin did that for a while with a couple of his early sovereign citizens. Now he's just over it. Now he's like, no, stop. So Eric Martin and Josh Lanto, also broken system, broken trust. Their first couple times in front of Judge Slavin, he let them talk. He just let them talk. He let them go. And now it's just, no, stop. I've heard it before. You're not gonna waste my time now. So I don't know if it's because he doesn't see that many of them. Because you don't see a lot of sovereign citizens with the felonies and the murder trials. You see a lot of them with traffic and lower level misdemeanors and just like I said, mainly traffic. So we'll see. I'm very interested to see if McBurney changes his approach. Maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe 5 years. See if he changes.
Yeah, good point, James. I just read what you put in there. And also, how many of y'all? I don't know if y'all want to put in the chat. Have y'all seen that Max Pritchard trial with him before? Some of y'all know. You can answer. I had it up when I first opened this channel, but there was something technical with that video, so I took it down and never put it back up. And a lot of times, if it's too long, I don't like to put stuff back up. But if y'all haven't seen it, I still have it. Same judge, and this sovereign citizen was something else. So yeah, if y'all want it, just y'all can throw it in the comments. If you say no, it's fine. Y'all know I try to do whatever y'all like. So
no, you don't. I like bed, and you forced me onto your string tonight. So no, you don't.
Okay, you know what? If you don't like it, file an appeal. Okay, you can take it to do an appeal, and we'll talk about it later. Oh, Trish never seen this judge.
We'll talk about it later. I'm appealing. All right,
appeal it.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Well, any last words from the comments before we close it, shut it down? I had a good time with y'all once again. It was fun. Wake some. It was fun. Yeah, I guess we get ready. Oh, charge fees, Colin. That's what Chris said.
Charge fees. Chris Barton's awesome. I've seen a lot of people here tonight is I got normal community members from my channel, and I really appreciate the ones that came over here to support.
Oh yeah, thanks for people from your channel. Thank y'all for coming over and supporting Colin for being on here with me. So y'all gonna see us again for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I'm in your basement now. Like, you kidnapped me. I'm here under threat and duress.
Good night, Cathrista. All right. Yeah, we can already say good night too. Good night, Eileen. See you next time. And Brian said make special appearance by the living man, Colin.
Yeah, the
All
living
right,
can't be
Wixom.
judged by the
Yeah.
dead. We all know that.
You're welcome, James. Just trying to give y'all some personal shots before we get ready to shut it off for the night. Yeah, have a good night, Rex. See y'all around. The new members, don't forget, check the community post so y'all can get in the app so we can have a good time. Oh, okay, Rich. See you next time, man. All right, y'all have a good night. We about to roll out of here. Blink twice if your anklets get too tight, Colin.
If I blink twice, I'll fall asleep. So no.
Yeah. Oh, what's up, K-Far?
Hey, K-Far, what's up?
Now I'm gonna tell you something about K-Far. K-Far was in your last one. I said hi to him, but it might have been a lot of people. When I first opened my channel, I was trying to do community posts regularly, like question of the day, and then I just got really busy. But K-Far came into my channel and he told me that was a good question of the day that I did. And then I checked his channel out and I was like, oh, he do a lot of lives. So I like your channel too, K-Far. So maybe, I'll get to hook up with you one day. But yeah, appreciate you doing that when I opened this channel last year. He was one of the first ones. That was another creator that just jumped in there and said that was a good question. He appreciate that. So good night, Aqua Queen. I did send you a message back in the app. I think you got it. That was funny. She sent something. If I could have got that picture here, I would have put it up. You about to say something, Colin?
K-Far's a weirdo. Everything that comes out of his mouth is just weird. I don't understand how someone can be so weird.
Dang.
I like K-Far. K-Far and I are friends.
Oh yeah, Peg Leg. I've seen you around too. I think he has some experience in law, right?
Yeah, Peg Leg's an attorney. He also has his own channel.
Yeah, I ran across his channel like one time. I thought he gives a lot of deep insight stuff that we can't do. You understand? I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah,
I might know some stuff, and I try to make y'all laugh, but that's about it. You want it deeper than that? Go to Peg Leg Finance channel. He'll dig in there and read all the code section to you. He'll give you a class.
He will give you a master class, and
Good night, Aqua.
20-minute speech. The 20-minute speech we heard, he's going to break down every single line, every single citation.
He can have fun with that because the way that dude talking about all those different sections and talking about $1 million for that, which is bullcrap. But Peg Leg, have fun with that transcript.
I said this in my video when I covered them. That make believe trust account that all these sovereign citizens say they have.
Oh, yeah.
I would love for one judge just to say when a sovereign citizen brings up their finance report, whatever, it's like, you owe me $1 billion. Like, all right, we'll put it into that account that
oh yeah, that trust account that everybody has.
Yeah, we'll put it into that for you. So we'll keep it safe for you.
Hey, Jenny says she know law. She watched Law and Order.
You can defend yourself then.
Yeah, Peg Leg said after he do that video, he gonna have 100 comments about talking too much. But I'm just saying, if you go to a channel like that and they're gonna dig deep into it, I mean, what, he's not supposed to talk?
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. But
it's YouTube. It's YouTube. We are putting the U in two. If we just had raw court videos, what's the difference between doing this and just turning on the TV? You come for our personalities, right? We put the U in YouTube.
Yep. There it is. So all right, good night, everybody. Colin, I guess you can hold off for a second. I gotta put you down with something before you go to bed.
Put me down.
Yeah. With some information. No, not like that. Not like SCPA. SPCA down. No.
Yeah, I know I turned 41 this month, but I'm not that old yet.
No, not yet. All right. So Wixom said they don't come for your looks. So I'm just saying it's in the chat. I didn't say it. He said it.
Yeah, that's why I don't turn on my camera, Wixom.
Oh, look, see, Aqua be on it. See, Peg Leg, see, this I'm telling you, Aqua's my ride or die on this channel because she's on it all the time. She just put your channel name up there. There you go. And then Peg Leg, if you want to reach out, you know how to find my email or go through Colin. He gets in touch with me. So there it is. All right, good night, Cynthia. Good night, everybody. we're doing another live shortly because we got some stuff coming up, both of us. So, well, he does lives every night, but yeah. All right. Good night.